Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. Today it's time for a run-through of the game, A Game of Thrones, the board game. And this game is for 3 to 6 players and it's designed by Petersen and it's published by Fantasy Flight Games. It came out a few years ago and now since we have a new season of Game of Thrones coming up, we thought it would be a good idea to show you this board game as well. So if you haven't seen it, you can check this video and see if it might be a game that you and your game group would like. So Drako is going to play Stark. He's sitting over there ready, and fire and ice and all that. Well, it sort of matches up in some way. And so we also have Martin here today. So say hello.
Hello.
And Martin is going to be Baratheons. Now I'm not going to say any spoilers. I was almost going to say something about Baratheons, but let's not do that if someone haven't seen the series or read the books and so on. I am of course the mighty Lanister. So you can see Cersei is here ready. And as you know, Lannisters always wins, basically. Yeah. Okay, so we have a bit of a setup here. Because the thing is, this game is really a 6-player game. To be honest, you could play it with 4 players if you have a little expansion called the Feast for Crows. But if you play the base game like we're going to do, then I would really recommend this with 6 players. But you can play it with 3 players, and you can do it, if nothing else, you can do it as a fun gaming night, really, but you won't get the perfect tactics and everything, because if you take a look here, of course, at the Westeros map, we have cut off sort of these tiles here, indicates that we cannot move down to the south. So if you were playing 6 players, you would of course have Mortel and Tyrell down here, and also you would of course have the Ironborn on the pike here. But since that's not the case, we are blocking them off so we can't go to them. This is a system that the game has, but there's some, of course, problems with it in balance terms. If you play it as 4 players, which I do not recommend at all, then you would have a player out here on the Iron Islands, but he would sort of be in a pinch here between Stark and Lannister, while Baretheon gets free, to do whatever he wants over there. So it's sort of a play it as a 3, or I think 5 is okay as well.
Yeah, 5 is okay.
5 is okay, yeah, because then you sort of can go down the south and have those factions there. But okay, so this is the main board. It's really nice looking, as we can see, and we have all these areas here. You're going to recognize a lot from the storyline. So this is the setup. It starts the same every round. We start with out here I have my knight, which is a stronger unit. It's a strength 2 unit, and I have my strength 1 unit, which is the sort of foot soldier. Then I also have a ship out here and a soldier here, and you want to control as many areas as possible. The goal of the game is to have 7 castles. So these are the castles. They come in 2 variants. So the big ones here are sort of castles, and then you have strongholds, the smaller ones. But they both count for the amount of 7, which is over there. Indicating how many castles we each control. Once you get to 7, you win instantly. So, but also you could play for 10 rounds, and then you see how who is leading and so on. Then we also have supply actions over there, indicating how much soldiers we can have out on the field, and we have the sort of power track where we indicate who is strongest in different areas. And as we all know, we start out with Baratheon having control of the Iron Throne. While Drako over there, Starks have a sword, the Valyrian steel blade, and I also have a raven for Lannister, so I can get some information that way. But we'll get into that more as we keep going. We also have a wildling track over here, so the wildlings will come from the north and attack, and they will attack every one of us, not just the Starks here, of course. So that was sort of a brief overview, and now let's get into the first round. So for the first round here, we have a special thing. The first round, then you don't draw any Westeros cards that are over here. Normally we do that the first thing every round, but the first round we will go straight to the order placement. This is where the game really shines. You have the screens that sort of cover up your orders, so everyone has the same orders behind the screen. But since we take these orders and we flip them over and put them on the board, then nobody knows which one I have here, because they can't see what is missing on my tableau. So I will put out an order. I will put out an order for each area there where I have units. So let's see. I will do it like that, and I will take this one, and I will explain what they do as we resolve them. I'll put it there, and I'll take this one and put it there. And you can play a bit different in strategy-wise and so on. Don't do that.
Oh.
Also Drako is ready there with his orders, and Martin is putting out his orders. So now everyone has their orders out, and I have no idea what is over here, what Drako is playing, what Martin is playing, and that's the beauty of the game really, because then at the same time we will all reveal. Now I do have the Raven, which means I could switch out one of my orders once I see what's going on. Okay, so let's do the revelation phase, where everybody switches over their markers. And as you can imagine, this could be quite chaotic if you're 6 players and everybody puts out their orders, and then all of a sudden you might be attacked from somewhere where you really didn't see it coming. Okay, so let's go through a bit of the orders here. Now I have 3 axes out, which means I have 3 movements. They are also vary. I have 1 -1, 1 0, and 1 +1, which is a star order. I will explain that in a while. So I will be doing 3 moves. And now you can chain these together, so I can move these guys over here and then move all 3 later. That's what I'm going to do. Now Drako, he has, on the other hand, he has a move over here, which means he can move someone out here. He doesn't have to. He could move one guy here and one guy here, or just move one of them away. It's all up to you. But you cannot initiate more than 1 combat in 1 move order. Well, he also has a move order on his ship, and he has his +1 here. And he has a star consolidate power order, which is the crown here, on this base. And he has that because he has a little stronghold here, which means he'll be able to muster or recruit more troops. Now let's just take a quick look at the stars over here. We have the power track, and that indicates how many stars you can play. As you can see, Baretheon only has 1 star, so Martin can only use one of his star orders, which sort of limits him. So he is mustering here on Dragonstone. He has a move order out here on the ships, and he's consolidating power over here. And the thing is, he's doing that, of course, he has a printed crown here as well. So these 2 will interact with each other. We will see that as we resolve. So let's start resolving. We go in player order depending on who has the Iron Throne, which is Martin. The whole show the tile is kind of cool, the Iron Throne tile. So Martin will do one of his, and you do this also in order of depending on what kind of actions there are. So first of all, you would resolve any of these raiding actions, but we don't have any of those out now. And then we go on to the movement. So Martin is first to move.
So I'm going to move one of my ships into Blackwater Bay, and then I resolve it like this, and then I remove the token from the board.
Yeah. All right, so he's setting up there for the future, I guess. And then we have my turn. And I will do a move of my ship into the harbor here. And the way that works is once the ship is out here on the water, it can't really do that much except for supporting battles on land or move away. But now that I'm in the harbor, I can also generate some income and so on. Then it's Drako's turn, and I think he will move here. He will move his what's it called? Infantry guy? Footman up here in the north over to the wall where he's ready to there. And so we'll remove his marker, and then we go back to Martin, who still has no movement orders. So it passes over to me because I have movement orders. And so I'll move these guys. So they will go. Let's see. I will send my guys out here. That, and then Drako has a move order out on the sea there.
And he intends to move from the Shivering Sea into the Narrow Sea.
And so it's Martin again, but he doesn't have any move orders, so it's back to me. I'll do my last move order now. I can move these guys, I can split them up as I want, so I'll move the cavalry there, 1 footman there, and 1 footman over there, so I'm spreading out there. Okay, so that was all the move orders, and now we go over to taking a look at combat. Well, there's no combat initiated because nobody moved into another territory that was controlled by another player. So we go to the consolidate power, and then I go once again in player order, or you can do this sort of simultaneously, but let's do it in player order. So Martin is consolidating power over there, which means he will get 1 for the token and 1 for the printed, so he'll get 2 power, and power is sort of the currency of the game. These little markers that can be used in different ways.
I believe they call influence tokens, right?
That's, perhaps they are. Yeah, I'm not sure. They sort of give you, well, they call it consolidate power though, the actual action. Drako, he has a star action here, so that means he can either gather one influence token or he could muster. He's going to muster. And do you want to explain how that works, Martin?
Well, since it is a stronghold, which is a smaller castle, he can muster one troop. Either, since he has a harbor here, he can muster a ship, either directly into the harbor or into an uncontrolled or a friendly sea, like the narrow sea. He can put a ship here if he wants to. Or, so he can either do that, or he can put a footman, another footman here, or he can take that point, that one mustering
recruitment point,
and upgrade the footman to a knight. And what he's going to do is actually, he needs more troops, so he's going to put in one more footman into the White Harbor.
Yeah, and what happens now is, now Drako has formed what's called an army unit, or an army. So he has one army of the size of 2, because there's 2 pieces. It doesn't have to do with the strength of the pieces. This can be confusing, but it's the number of pieces. He has 2 pieces, that's a strength of 2. And if we take a look at his supply, because Stark is kind of poor in the beginning, so he can only have 2 units of size 2. So he can't get another guy in here, because that would be a unit of size 3. So that's how you sort of balance it out. So you can't just make a big, huge army just to go through the land. You have to consider the supply, because they need food, of course. So it's time for Martin to muster as well, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm going to remove my token here, and I'm going to muster one ship.
Let's also explain, because Martin has a castle, so he gets 2 muster points. So he can do one ship for 1.
And another footman here.
Yeah, that's 2 points.
Yep.
And now Martin has 2 armies, basically. He has one size 2 here and one size 3. But that's what he can have, because, let's zoom in, because his supply over there limits him to a 3 and a 2. The 3 could, of course, be a 2 as well, if he didn't have 3 guys. So now he can't increase the size anywhere. He couldn't get another guy here, for example, because then he would have a 3-2-2, and that's not allowed. So that was the first round, and then we have resolved everything. Everything is pulled off the board, and we go to the second round, where we will start drawing the Westeros cards. And so we take these 3 here, and we reveal them, see what's going to happen, and then we resolve them in order. And I'm going to, now we get some glare here, so I'm going to show them to you. So first of all, we have last day of summer, nothing happened, so that was just a quiet day. But there's a symbol there for the wildlings, so the wildlings will move on the track here. They will become stronger, and also they will be coming closer, because when they get to 12 they will attack. There's other ways they can attack as well, as you will see later on. Then we have the Game of Thrones. This one is, each player collects 1 power token for each power icon printed on areas he controls. So we take a look at the board. We do this. We can do this in player order, not that you need to in a normal game. But Martin has
1, 2.
So he'll get 2 power or influence tokens. Drako has 2, because he moved this guy up here. So he'll get for each of these crown symbols. And as you can see, you start with 5 of these, and then you sort of build them up. And I have, let's see, I have 1, 2. Yeah, that's what I have.
But you also get 1 because of the ship in the harbor.
Exactly, I'll get 1 because I have a ship in the harbor. If it was out to sea, I wouldn't get anything. But as you can see, Lanister starts with a lot of supply, because I have 2 barrels here of supply, but I don't have any power there. So I'll get 3 in total, 3 power tokens to me, and then we go to the third card. And the third card is put to the sword. So whoever has the Valyrian Steelblade will get to choose. And Drako will get to choose between either, during this planning phase, when we put out the markers to indicate what we're going to do, either he can decide that there will be no defense order played, or he could decide that there will be no March +1 orders played. It's the ones with the star here, that makes it stronger if you're attacking. Or he can have no restrictions, and of course he will be looking at what is he planning on doing. Let's say that he was about to get attacked, and he wouldn't want people to play the +1 attack, but now it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I think he wants to be able to move around and so on. So I think he'll say that no defense orders can be played. So then we go into the planning phase, and we do just like we did in the first round. We pick here for each area that we control, we pick a tile and we put it down in secret.
And we move to round 2.
Yes, of course, we have the round tracker going there. Oh, by the way, this should be updated. Now I have, and this should have happened instantly, but now I am controlling 3 castles. So we'll move the marker there. And let's see, Drako didn't take any castles now, so he still has 2. Okay. And if I would have gotten to 7 there, the game would have ended instantly. So let's see. So let's see, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this one. I think we'll go over here. And this one will go there. I'll put some this. I will explain what it is in a minute when I resolve it. And this goes down here in the harbor. I'll put out my 4 tokens now because I have 1 more area than I had the first round. As we can see, Drako is putting out his stuff over there. And we have no idea what it is. And Martin is on the way here with some orders as well. And you have to consider how many stars you have, so you don't put out too many. This will happen most games, that someone messes this up. But then you sort of have to have some kind of house rule or some judgment on how to do that. Usually what we do is, if you put out too many stars, then you'll have to replace it with one your normal order instead. Okay, so let's resolve then. Everybody reveals. And see what Martin is planning. I usually like to open the other players' markets because that's more fun to see what they're doing. Okay, and so Martin is the first to act, but now we are going to do this in proper order. So the first thing that happens is raids, and the only one having a raid order out is Drako over here on the sea. So his raid order will affect first. And what does a raid order do, Martin?
Well, raid order can actually eliminate one of the orders, either defense or support orders, which is a way to screw up your opponent's tactics and planning. So with this raid order, he can actually raid my support here, which would be quite crucial for my defense here in case I would be attacked.
And because there's a star, he can also do the defense order.
Yes.
Normally you can only do the raid and other raids and support.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
And if he would raid somewhere, like here, if you could raid somewhere where you have a consolidate power order, those can be raided as well.
Yeah.
Then he would actually gain 1 power, and you would lose 1.
I would lose 1.
Yeah.
And even if I don't have 1, he would still gain one
yeah.
from the supply.
So it's like the ships are raiding the shores.
And one thing that is really important is that you cannot raid from land to sea, only from sea to land.
Yeah. And it's the same with the support, because this order here, this fist, is called support, and that's how this game war mechanics work. It's really good because now, right now, Martin is supporting the areas here. So if he would be attacked here, this ship would support him, and it's even a +1, so he would have an extra combat strength there. So we will see how that goes as we resolve. But first of all, Drako will burn Martin's supply order because that's the only one he can reach. So Stark is sort of raiding the Baretheons on the sea. And then we go to movement, and Martin is first to act.
Well, in that case, I will move 1 footman in here and another footman in here. And that's still legal due to my supply.
Yeah, because now you have a 2 and a 2. So. Alright, and then it's Drako's move. He only has 1, so what will he do? I guess one of these guys will go over here because he needs to get more of these barrels, the supply symbols. And that means he doesn't get it right now, but if the supply card comes up during the Westeros phase, and the first that happens every round, then we will update the number of barrels we have at that moment. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now, but I only have 2 on the track. If we were to update now, then I would get a lot more availability to have more troops. So that was Drako's order, and we removed his order, and so it's my time to move. And now, of course, I have a few options. I could move this guy in here and strengthen for perhaps going for King's Landing later. But I think I will move this guy in here. And that means I'll lose a castle as well. So let's keep track of that.
So you move down here.
Because I'm not controlling this area anymore.
But you do actually have the option to place one of your tokens, your power tokens, here if you want to.
Exactly. Almost forgot. So, of course, I will use my power token here to indicate that I still control this area, even though I don't have any troops there. But this is, of course, vulnerable. Anyone could go in here and just remove this one, and it would go to the supply. And so I would lose this area, so I'm not protecting it. So then we go all the way around again with the movement, but I'm the only one that has a movement, so now we will have some combat. So I have a +1 move order, and I will use it to move these guys in here. And now before the combat I have to decide if I want to put down a token or not to control this area. I will, because I might not win. And you have to decide that before the combat starts, so you can't sort of see how it goes. So let's see then, let's take the order with them. So I have, now we do a calculation of combat strength. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, but I also have a support here because these areas connect. So this guy is supporting and he is strong in support. So I have 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total strength. What's your strength, Martin?
Well, I have 1 here due to the footman, and I have another 1 here plus another 1 because of the +1 support. So I have a total of 2, 3 in, versus your 6.
Yeah, so 6 versus 3, but it's not over yet. Now comes the really fun part. Now we all have one of these decks where we have these 7 cards, and we get to choose one to play against each other. So I have 6, Martin has 3, but now we're going to play a card. So this go from 0 to all the way up to 4, and they also have some text with some special things that happens. And so in secret we will choose one card, we will play it. But the thing is, once we played it, then it's going to our discard pile. It's going to take a while before we get it back again, because we have to play all the other cards. So let's say Martin plays a 4 now. He only has 1 4, and I know he only has 1 4. Then the next combat, I know that he can't play a 4. So it's a lot of strategy involved there. But let's see, I will play...
And one thing that's really important to remember is if you look at the sword track here of Valyrian Steelblade, that means that if I win ties against Lannisters,
yeah,
but Stark will win over me in case of a tie, in case there would be 6-6, for example.
So that's how ties are resolved. Also, if you have the Valyrian Steelblade, which Drako has, he could choose at the end of the combat, he could choose to use it, and then he would get another strength.
+1.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get going. I've chosen my card here.
And so have I.
And this guy is lovely, as we all know. He's not really healthy these days, though. I don't know. So okay, we have the Sir Gregor Clegane against
Patchface.
All right. So we take a look at the strength first of all. Well, Martin is playing a 0. He's sort of he's prepared to lose because it would be hard for him to win there when I had 6 against 3. So I have a total of 9, and he has 3. So I'm winning. But then Patchface has a special ability.
Yeah, that only happens at the end of combat. But first, actually, your swords.
Oh yeah, first this happens. Because this monster here, he has 3 swords. This means for every sword in a combat, he will kill a unit from the other side. If he didn't have any swords, if I only had it like this, then he would only win, which means Martin could retreat with his footman to a nearby area that he's controlling or not. Now nobody's controlling.
However, it has to be said that the swords can only be used if you win the combat.
Yeah, if you win the combat. Also, there are these towers, these defense towers. If you play those, then you're protected. So let's say if the brothers were fighting here, the Hound and the Sir Gregor, then 1 sword would get through and 2 would be blocked by these castles. That's not going to happen in this game, though. That would be fun.
Yeah,
I think it might happen in the future in the series. I don't know when you're watching this video. Maybe you already know. Okay, so it's the first thing that happens is Martin's footman is killed.
Yeah.
I take over the area, which means Martin loses a castle that he never moved, and then I'll take 1 more castle.
And then what my card actually says: at the end of combat, you may look at your opponent's hand and discard one card of your choice.
And of course, I guess.
Yes.
Martin will discard my number 4 card. So my number 3 goes down here, and this pile is open for everybody to see what cards I have already played. So now I already played my 3 and my 4. Everybody knows I only have 2s left, so I'm sort of weakening myself for the future, but I won this combat at least. So let's see, and that was the combat, that was the movement. Now we go to the consolidate power, and so Martin will get power over there. The 1 plus the 1 printed.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry.
Drako, he will get some power up here, 1 plus 1 printed, so that's 2. But he will also be able to muster here. So he's going to muster, and he has a castle, so he has 2 points, so he could get 2 guys, a guy in a boat, or a horse, and so on.
So I think Drako is going to get, since he cannot actually get 2 units because he is limited by the supply.
Yeah, he can't get 3 in total.
But he can actually get 1 footman here, and he actually can get another ship which he places in the harbor.
Ah, okay, yeah. Well, he's sort of a bit of defense here. If I start moving up on the coast, then he has defense here on the water as well. Okay, so then we go to my consolidate power in the harbor here, where I'll get 1 power for having that boat there. So that's a way to use the ships as well. And so now we do a cleanup where we remove the support orders as such. And then we are ready for the 3rd round. But I think we will be back in the next video because the time is getting a bit high, a lot of here. So I think let's do a pause, and when we come back, you are going to see more combat, perhaps some sea combat as well, I guess. And you're going to see when Stark perhaps starts rolling down the south and to conquer us. We'll see how it goes. I know that Drako likes to be aggressive, so let's see how it goes in the next video. You can click the little eye up there to go straight to the part 2 where we continue.